Take my black card and spend it all, or become mine.
Really?
The black card hit the marble table between us with a sound like a gunshot. I stared at it. Matte finish. No name. Just numbers embossed in silver that caught the low light of the private room like a threat. "Spend it all," he said. His voice was quiet, the kind of quiet that made every other sound in the restaurant disappear. The muted conversation from the main dining room, the soft clink of silverware, the hum of expensive air conditioning, all of it gone. I looked up. He was watching me the way a wolf watches something small and wounded. Not hungry, just patient. "I don't understand," I said. "You will." His name was Kang Minho. I knew that much. Everyone in Seoul knew that much. He owned half the clubs in Gangnam. The other half paid him to exist. He wore suits that cost more than my yearly rent, and he moved through the city like he owned the ground beneath his feet. Which he probably did. I was a nobody, a cocktail waitress at one of his clubs. I served drinks to men who didn't look at my face and women who looked through me entirely. I was good at being invisible. It kept me safe. Until tonight. It started 3 hours ago. A man at table 7, mid-40s, expensive watch, cheap smile. He ordered whiskey and kept trying to touch my wrist when I set down his glass. I pulled away, professional, polite. He didn't like that. When I came back with his second drink, his hand caught my hip, tight enough to bruise. "Sit with me," he said. "I'm working." His grip tightened. I said sit. I should have called security. I should have smiled and made an excuse and slipped away like I always did. But I was tired. Tired of hands that didn't ask. Tired of men who thought money bought them everything. "Let go," I said. He laughed. That's when the room changed. I didn't see Minho approach. No one ever did. He was just suddenly there, standing beside our table, hands in his pockets, expression calm. "Remove your hand," Minho said. The man looked up. His face went white. "Mr. Kang, I didn't." Now. The hand disappeared. Minho's eyes flicked to me, dark, unreadable, then back to the man. "Leave." I was just. "You're still here." The man stood so fast his chair tipped backward. He didn't pick it up. He just walked, fast, like something was chasing him. Minho watched him go, then he looked at me. "You're finished for the night," he said. "I have 4 more hours on my shift." "Not anymore." He turned and walked toward the back of the club, through the VIP section, past the velvet ropes and the bodyguards who stepped aside without being asked. I should have gone home. I followed him instead. The private dining room was all dark wood and soft lighting, a table set for 2, wine already poured. He sat down and gestured to the chair across from him. I sat. "You didn't have to do that," I said. "I know. He's probably a regular. You just lost money." "I have money." He picked up his wine glass, didn't drink, just held it. "What's your name?" he asked. "Jina." "Jina," he said it like he was testing the weight of it. "How long have you worked here?" 8 months. "You're good at your job." I didn't know what to say to that. "You don't complain," he continued. "You don't start drama, you show up on time and you leave quietly. You make yourself small." My chest tightened. "It's safer that way," I said. "Is it?" It wasn't a question. He set down the wine glass, leaned back in his chair. His suit was charcoal gray, perfectly tailored. No tie, the top button of his shirt undone. He looked relaxed, but I could feel the tension in the room like a living thing. "I've been watching you," he said. My pulse jumped. "Why?" "Because you're the only person in this building who doesn't want something from me." "Everyone wants something." "What do you want?" "To pay rent, to eat, to not be touched by men like the one at table 7. "To be left alone," I said. He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. That's when he pulled out the card. Now it sat between us, black and gleaming and impossible. "There's no limit," he said. "Buy anything, go anywhere. Spend until you can't think of anything else to buy." "Why would you?" "Because if you can't spend it all," he interrupted, voice still quiet, still calm, "you become mine." The air left my lungs. "Excuse me. You have 1 week. You can't be serious." He stood, buttoned his jacket, looked down at me with those dark, unreadable eyes. "I'm always serious." He walked toward the door, stopped, didn't turn around. "The card is in your name. No one will question it. No one will stop you." He paused. "But if you're still holding it in 7 days, you belong to me, completely." "What does that even mean?" "You'll find out." Then he was gone. I sat there, staring at the card, my reflection distorted in its black surface. This was insane. This was a trap. This was... I picked up the card. It was warm from his pocket. And I had 7 days to decide if I wanted to be free, or if I wanted to find out what it meant to be his. I didn't sleep that night. The card sat on my kitchen counter like a living thing. I walked past it, stared at it, picked it up and put it down again. The numbers caught the early morning light filtering through my apartment's single window. No limit. The words played on repeat in my head. I made coffee I didn't drink, took a shower that didn't help, changed clothes 3 times. By 7 a.m., I was dressed in jeans and a sweater, standing in my tiny kitchen, holding a piece of plastic that could apparently buy anything. Or trap me forever. I needed to think. I needed air. I grabbed my jacket and left. Seoul was just waking up. Street vendors setting up breakfast carts. Office workers rushing toward subway stations. The city moved around me like it always did. Indifferent. Enormous. I walked without direction, the card burning a hole in my pocket. What did he want? Men like Kang Minho didn't give away power for nothing. This wasn't generosity. It was a game, but I couldn't figure out the rules. Spend it all or become his. The words were simple. The meaning wasn't. I found myself outside a department store. Shinsegae, the kind of place I'd only ever walked past. Glass doors, marble floors, security guards in suits that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe. I went inside. The air smelled like expensive perfume and new leather. Everything gleamed. A woman behind a cosmetics counter looked at me with the kind of smile that didn't reach her eyes. I didn't belong here. I kept walking. Past handbags that could pay 3 months' rent. Past watches that could pay 6. I stopped in front of a clothing display. A dress. Simple black silk. No price tag visible. "Can I help you?" The sales assistant appeared beside me. Young, pretty. Her smile was professional, but her eyes were doing math, calculating my worth based on my shoes. "How much is this?" I asked. She glanced at the dress, then back at me. "That piece is 4,000,000 won. $4,000 for a dress." "I'll take it," I said. Her expression flickered, surprise, then doubt. I pulled out the card. Her eyes went to it, then widened. She recovered quickly. The professional smile locked back into place. "Of course, let me get that for you right away." She disappeared, came back with the dress in tissue paper and a bag that probably cost more than the dress itself. She ran the card. It went through without a sound. 4,000,000 won, gone. She handed me the bag and the card. Her hands were steady, but I saw the question in her eyes. "Who are you?" I walked out. The bag felt heavy, not from weight, from meaning. I had just spent $4,000 on a dress I would never wear, and I didn't feel anything. No guilt, no excitement, just emptiness. This was impossible. No one could spend enough to drain a card with no limit. Not in a week, not in a lifetime, which meant Minho already knew how this would end. He wasn't giving me a choice. He was giving me an illusion of one. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I stared at it, let it ring twice, then answered. "Hello." "How much did you spend?" His voice, quiet, almost amused. How did you? I know everything, Jina. How much? 4,000,001. Silence, then a low sound that might have been a laugh. A dress. Yes. Do you like it? I looked at the bag in my hand. I don't know. That's honest, he paused. You have 6 days left. This is insane. Yes. Why are you doing this? The line went quiet. For a moment I thought he'd hung up, then his voice came back, softer, more dangerous. Because I want to know what you'll do when all the walls come down, when money isn't a reason to say no, when you can have anything. Another pause. I want to know who you are when you're not afraid. My throat tightened. I'm not afraid of you. Liar. He hung up. I stood on the sidewalk. People streamed past me. The morning rush. Everyone going somewhere, everyone with purpose. I looked at the card. Then I started walking. If he wanted to see who I was without walls, I'd show him. But not the way he expected. I went to a different store. Not a department store. A small shop in Hongdae. The kind that sold used books and vintage records. The owner was an old woman with kind eyes who didn't look at my clothes or my shoes. Can I help you? She asked. I want to buy books, I said. For a children's hospital, as many as you can give me. She blinked, then smiled. How many? All of them. I used the card, bought every children's book in the shop. The old woman cried, said I was an angel, promised to deliver them herself. I left before she could ask my name. Next was a restaurant, not expensive, a small place near my apartment that fed day laborers and taxi drivers. The owner was a woman my mother's age. She worked 16-hour days and never complained. I paid off her debts, all of them. She tried to refuse. I told her it was already done. Then a school, a uniform fund for kids whose families couldn't afford them, a clinic that offered free health care, a shelter for women running from violence. I moved through the city like a ghost, spending, giving, watching people's faces change when they realized the money was real. By sunset, I had spent 200,000,000 won. $200,000. It didn't matter. The card was still active, still infinite. I went home, exhausted, empty. My phone buzzed. Another message from the unknown number. Just 3 words. Clever girl, Jina. I threw the phone across the room. Then I sat on my floor and realized something that made my blood run cold. He wasn't angry. He was pleased. This was exactly what he wanted me to do. Day 3. I woke up to find a car waiting outside my building. Black, expensive, the kind with windows you couldn't see through. The driver stood beside it. Young, stoic, he bowed slightly when he saw me. Miss Jina, he said, Mr. Kang thought you might need transportation. I didn't ask for this. He didn't ask if you wanted it. The driver opened the door. I should have walked away, taken the subway like I always did, but my feet hurt from 2 days of walking across Seoul, and I was tired of pretending this wasn't happening. I got in. The interior smelled like leather and something else, something clean and expensive. There was a bottle of water waiting, a tablet, a note. I picked up the note. His handwriting, sharp, precise. You're thinking too small. I crumpled it. The driver pulled into traffic, smooth, silent. Where are we going? I asked. Where would you like to go, Miss Jina? Anywhere but here. The hospital, I said. Samsung Medical Center. He nodded, didn't ask why. We drove through morning traffic. I watched the city slide past. Glass towers, crowded streets, people living their lives, normal lives, lives that didn't involve black cards and impossible choices and men who watched you like you were a puzzle they intended to solve. My phone buzzed. I ignored it. It buzzed again. I looked. Not a call, a notification. The card had been used. But not by me. 500,000,000 won, transferred to an account in my name, an account I didn't know existed. My hands shook. The phone rang. I answered. I didn't use the card, I said. I know. His voice was calm, always calm. Consider it a gift. I don't want your gifts. Then give it away. You're good at that. Silence. You're watching me, I said. Yes. Why? Because you're more interesting than I expected. I'm not a game. Everything is a game, Jina. The only question is whether you know you're playing. I wanted to hang up, to throw the phone out the window, to scream. Instead, I kept my voice level. What do you really want? He was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was different, softer, more dangerous. I want to know if you'll break. I won't. We'll see. He hung up. The car stopped. Samsung Medical Center. Massive, modern. The driver opened my door. I'll wait here, he said. I walked inside. The pediatric ward was on the 4th floor. I'd been here before, once, years ago, when my little brother was sick before we lost him. The memories hit like fists. I kept walking. The head nurse recognized me from my previous donations. Her eyes went wide when I told her what I wanted to do. All of it, she asked. Every child who needs treatment and can't afford it. Every family struggling with bills. I want them covered. That's over $1 billion. Then use $1 billion. She stared at me. Who are you? I didn't have an answer. I gave her the account information, watched her make the calls, watched her cry, watched her hug me like I'd saved the world. I felt nothing. Just emptiness. I left before she could ask more questions. The driver was waiting. He opened the door without a word. Take me to Gangnam, I said, to his club. The driver's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. Mr. Kang is not there currently. I don't care. We drove. The club looked different in daylight. Smaller, less magical, just a building with dark windows and a door that stayed locked until evening. But someone was inside. I knocked. The door opened. A man, tall, scarred. He looked at me like I was an insect. We're closed. I'm here to see Minho. Mr. Kang doesn't. Tell him Jina is here. The man's expression changed. Surprise, then something else. He stepped aside. I walked in. The club was dark, empty, chairs on tables, the smell of cleaning solution and old alcohol. My footsteps echoed. Someone was sitting at the bar. Not Minho. A woman, late 30s, beautiful, expensive clothes. She turned when she heard me. Her eyes were cold. So you're the girl, she said. I'm looking for Minho. Everyone is looking for Minho. She sipped her drink, clear liquid, vodka probably. But you're the one he's looking at. Who are you? No one important, she smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. Just someone who used to be where you are now. My stomach dropped. What happened? I broke. She set down her glass. He gives you everything, makes you feel safe, makes you think you matter. And then one day you realize you're not safe, you're owned. I'm not owned. Not yet. She stood, walked toward me. Her heels clicked on the floor. But you will be, because you can't spend it all, Jina. No one can. That's the point. He's not testing your ability to spend money. He's testing your ability to resist him. Resist what? Belonging to someone who sees you. She walked past me, stopped at the door. 4 days left, she said. Spend wisely. Then she was gone. I stood alone in the empty club. My phone buzzed. A text. She's lying. I typed back fast. About what? His response came immediately. She didn't break. She ran. There's a difference. What's the difference? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Breaking means you stayed. I stared at the screen. Then I walked out. The driver was waiting. Where to, Miss Jina? I looked at the card in my hand. Black, infinite, impossible. Incheon Airport, I said. His eyebrows rose slightly. Should I inform Mr. Kang? No. He nodded. We drove. And I realized something that made my chest tight. I wasn't running away from Minho. I was running toward the only thing that might save me. A way to spend more money than even he could give. The airport was chaos. Families dragging luggage, business travelers moving with purpose, announcements in 3 languages echoing through the terminal. I stood in front of the departures board and felt small. The driver had stayed with the car, following orders, not mine. I pulled out my phone. Searched for the most expensive airline tickets. First class, destinations that made no sense. Paris, Dubai, New York, I could book them all, fly somewhere, disappear. But that wasn't spending the money. That was running. And she'd said he wanted to see if I'd break or run. I wouldn't do either. My phone rang. I looked at the screen. Unknown number, of course. I answered. The airport is a bold choice, Minho said. I'm not running. I know, you're thinking. The sound of the terminal faded, like we were the only 2 people in the world. How do you always know where I am? I asked. The driver reports to me. The card has tracking, and you're not as invisible as you think you are, Jina. That's not an answer. It's the only one you'll get. I closed my eyes, breathed. I can't win this, I said. No. So why try? Because I want to see what you do when you realize winning was never the point. I opened my eyes, stared at the departures board. What is the point? Come to dinner tonight, and I'll tell you. No. Afraid. Yes. He laughed, low, genuine. It did something strange to my chest. Good, he said. Fear means you're paying attention. 8 o'clock. The Peninsula, Suite 2804. Don't make me send the car. I'll take the subway. You'll take the car. He hung up. I stood there, people flowing around me like water around a stone. Then I turned and walked back outside. The driver was waiting. Back to Seoul, I said. Very good, Miss Jina. We drove in silence. I watched the city approach, towers of glass and steel, neon signs preparing for nightfall. Somewhere in that sprawl was a hotel suite and a man who thought he could own me. He was probably right. But I wasn't going to make it easy. I had the driver stop at a boutique in Cheongdam-dong, the kind of place that required appointments, where they served champagne while you shopped. I walked in with the black card in my hand. The staff materialized around me like ghosts. I need a dress for tonight, I said. They moved like a ballet, measuring, suggesting, bringing options. I tried on 12 dresses before I found the right one. Red, deep red like wine or blood, simple cut, devastating fit, the kind of dress that made a statement without saying a word. Perfect, the stylist breathed. It cost 8 million won. I didn't blink. Shoes, jewelry, a clutch. They built an armor around me piece by piece. When I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself. I looked like I belonged in his world. That was dangerous. By 7:30, I was standing outside the Peninsula. The driver had brought me, bowed, disappeared. A doorman opened the glass doors. Inside was all marble and gold, a fountain in the center, crystal chandeliers, people who looked like they bought countries for fun. I gave the suite number to the concierge. He smiled, called someone, nodded to the elevator. 28th floor, miss. They're expecting you. The elevator was mirrored on all sides. I watched myself rise through the building, 20 floors, 25, 28. The doors opened. Only one suite on this floor. The door was already open. I walked through. The suite was bigger than my entire apartment building, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul. The city spread out like a circuit board, millions of lights, millions of lives. A table was set by the windows, candles, wine, food that probably cost more than my monthly salary. Minho stood with his back to me, hands in his pockets, looking out at his city. He turned when he heard me enter. For a moment, neither of us spoke. He wore black, simple suit, no tie. His hair was pushed back. He looked at me the way someone looks at art, studying, appreciating. "Red," he said. "You don't like it." I didn't say that. He moved toward me, slow, controlled, stopped just close enough that I could smell his cologne, something dark and expensive. "You're angry," he said. "Yes." "Good, anger is honest. This whole thing is insane." "Yes." "You can't just buy people." "I'm not buying you, Jina. I'm giving you a choice." "A choice with only one outcome isn't a choice." He smiled, small, almost sad. "There are always two outcomes. Stay or go, fight or surrender, love or hate." He paused. "You just don't like that both paths lead to me." My breath caught. "Why me?" I asked. "Because you're the first person in 10 years who didn't want anything from me, who saw me and walked away." He turned back to the window. "Do you know how rare that is?" "I'm not special." "You're wrong." He gestured to the table. "Eat, we'll talk." I should have left, walked out, taken the stairs all 28 flights if I had to. Instead, I sat. The food was perfect, every bite, but I barely tasted it. He sat across from me, watched me, didn't eat much himself. "Tell me about your brother," he said. My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. "How do you?" "I know everything about you, Jina. I know your brother died when you were 17. I know your parents bankrupted themselves trying to save him. I know you've been working 3 jobs to help them ever since." His eyes were dark, bottomless. "I know why you give money away, because you couldn't save him, so you save everyone else." Tears burned behind my eyes. I wouldn't let them fall. "That's not fair," I whispered. "No, it's not." He stood, walked around the table, knelt beside my chair. We were eye level now. "I don't want to break you," he said quietly. "I want to free you from guilt, from debt, from every wall you've built to keep yourself small and safe and alone. By trapping me. By giving you a reason to stay." His hand moved to my face, gentle. His thumb brushed my cheek. "4 days," he said. "You can't spend enough, we both know that. So stop trying, stop running, stop fighting." His eyes held mine. "And ask yourself what you actually want." "I want to be free." "Liar." He stood, stepped back. "You have a choice tonight," he said. "Walk out that door and I'll cancel the card. The game ends. You go back to your life, I'll never contact you again." My heart hammered. Or stay, finish dinner. Let me show you what your life could be if you stopped being afraid of wanting something. The city glittered behind him. A kingdom he ruled. And he was offering me a place in it. All I had to do was stay. I stayed. Not because I was weak, not because I was trapped, but because I needed to know what he saw when he looked at me, what made him choose me out of thousands. Minho returned to his seat, picked up his wine, watched me over the rim of the glass. "Smart choice," he said. "I haven't made a choice yet." "You're still here, that's a choice." He was right. I hated that he was right. We ate in silence for a while. The food was exquisite, each bite perfectly prepared, but I barely tasted any of it. My mind was racing, calculating, trying to find the trap hidden in his words. "Tell me about the woman at the club," I said finally. His expression didn't change. "Soyeon. She said you owned her." "She wanted to be owned, there's a difference." He set down his fork. "She came to me looking for protection. Her husband was abusive, connected. I helped her, gave her money, a place to stay, safety." "And what did you want in return?" "Nothing, that was the problem." I frowned. "She needed someone to control her because she didn't trust herself," he continued. "She wanted rules, boundaries, someone to make decisions so she didn't have to. I'm not interested in that. I don't want someone who needs me. I want someone who chooses me. And if I choose to walk away, then you walk away." Just like that. Just like that. I studied his face, looking for the lie, but his expression was calm, open, honest in a way that felt more dangerous than any threat. I don't believe you, I said. I know. He stood, walked to the window, looked out at the city below. Do you know what I do, Jina? Really do. You run clubs, restaurants, you have business interests. I control territory. I settle disputes. I protect people who pay for protection and punish people who break agreements. I exist in the spaces between legal and illegal. I make problems disappear. He turned back to me. I'm not a good man. I know. But I'm an honest one. When I say I'll do something, I do it. When I make a promise, I keep it. And when I want something, I take it. He moved closer, but only if it's freely given. My pulse quickened. What do you want from me? Everything. The word hung in the air between us. That's not an answer, I said. Yes, it is. I want your time, your attention, your trust. I want to know what you think about at 3 a.m. What makes you laugh? What scares you? I want the parts of yourself you keep hidden because you think they're not worth showing. Why? Because you're real. He said it simply, like it explained everything. Everyone in my world wants something, he continued. Money, power, protection, status. They smile and bow and say the right things, but they're all performing, all pretending. He paused. You don't pretend. You told me no, you walked away. You took my card and gave the money to people who needed it instead of yourself. You're not trying to impress me. You're not trying to use me. You're just you. You don't know me. Not yet, but I want to. He was close now, close enough to touch. His presence filled the space, overwhelming, inevitable. And if I say no, I asked, then you say no. You'll let me go. I'll let you go. I don't believe that. Then test me, stand up, walk out, see what happens. I wanted to. Every rational part of my brain screamed at me to leave, to run, to get as far from this man and his dark eyes and his impossible offers as I could. But I didn't move. Because he was right. I was curious. 3 days left, he said quietly. Let me show you something. What? What it feels like to not be afraid. He held out his hand. I looked at it, strong, scarred across the knuckles, the hand of someone who'd hurt people, protected people, built an empire. I took it. His fingers closed around mine, warm, solid. He led me through the suite, past the dining area, past a living room bigger than most apartments, to a door I hadn't noticed. He opened it. Inside was an office, dark wood, leather chairs, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, a desk with 3 monitors displaying information I couldn't read from here. He gestured to the chair behind the desk. Sit. I sat. The monitors came to life at my movement. Security feeds, financial displays, messages in Korean and English and languages I didn't recognize. The whole city laid out in data and surveillance. This is my world, he said. Every club I own, every property, every business, every person who works for me, every threat, every opportunity. He leaned against the desk beside me. 50,000 people depend on what I decide in this room, their jobs, their safety, their lives. I stared at the screens, the weight of it crushing. Why are you showing me this? Because if you stay, this becomes your world too, and I need you to understand what that means. One of the screens showed the club where I worked. The main floor, tables full, my coworkers moving through the crowd, my old life. Safe, small, simple. I can't be part of this, I said. You already are, the moment you took the card, the moment you didn't walk away. He touched my shoulder, light, careful. You think you're ordinary, Jina, you think you're nobody, but you moved 2 billion won in 3 days. You changed lives. You made decisions that affected hundreds of people. You did that, not me. With your money. Money is just a tool. You're the one who wielded it. I looked up at him. What happens in 3 days? You decide. Decide what? If you want to keep hiding, or if you want to see what you're capable of when someone gives you the power to do it. My phone buzzed. I pulled it out. A notification, another transfer, 5 billion won, into the account. $5 million. I looked at him. You're making this impossible. No, I'm making it inevitable. He moved in front of me, hands on the armrests, caging me in, his face inches from mine. 3 days, Jina, spend it. Give it away, burn it if you want. But at the end, you'll still be here, and I'll still be waiting, because we both know how this ends. How? His lips curved, dark, knowing. With you choosing to stay. Then he kissed me. Soft, careful, testing. And I kissed him back. 2 days left. I woke up in my own bed, alone. Minho had sent me home after the kiss, after my world tilted sideways and I forgot how to breathe. He'd called the driver, walked me to the elevator, touched my face once more. 2 days, he'd said. Think carefully. Then the doors closed between us. Now it was morning, gray light through my window, the city waking up outside, and the black card on my nightstand staring at me like an accusation. I picked it up, checked the balance on my phone. 8 billion won still available, $8 million. I'd given away almost 3 billion in donations, spent another billion on things I didn't need, and it hadn't made a dent. He was right. This was never about the money. My phone rang. Not him, a number I recognized, the hospital. Miss Jina, the nurse's voice was shaking. I'm sorry to call so early, but there's a family here. The Kims. Their daughter needs surgery, emergency, her heart. But they don't have insurance and we can't. How much? I interrupted. 30 million won. But Miss Jina, that's not why I'm calling. I just wanted to thank you for everything you've already. I'll cover it, transfer it now, whatever she needs, whatever they need after, all of it. Silence. Miss Jina, are you sure? I'm sure, save her. I hung up. Transferred 50 million, just in case. The money disappeared like smoke. I got dressed, jeans, sweater, nothing special. Today I wasn't going to boutiques or department stores. Today I was going to face the only person who might understand what I was feeling. I took the subway to Soyeon's apartment building in Upgyeong. The address had been easy to find. Minho's world left traces everywhere once you knew how to look. She answered on the third knock. Still beautiful, still expensive, but her eyes were tired. I wondered when you'd come, she said. She let me in. The apartment was stunning. Modern, minimalist, everything perfect, everything cold, like a showroom, like no one really lived here. Coffee, she asked. Please. We sat at her kitchen island. Black marble, chrome fixtures. She made espresso with a machine that probably cost more than my car. You kissed him, she said. Not a question. How do you know? Because you're here, because you're scared, because you're trying to decide if you can walk away. She sipped her coffee. You can't. He said I could. He would say that. He believes it too. That's what makes him dangerous. She set down her cup. Minho doesn't lie, Jina. He doesn't have to. He just tells you the truth and lets you walk into the trap yourself. What trap? Wanting him. The words hit like a punch. I don't. Yes, you do. I see it in your face, the same look I had 2 years ago. She stood, walked to the window. He makes you feel seen, like you matter, like you're special. And you are, to him, that's real, but it's also consuming. You said you ran. I did because I realized I was disappearing. Not because he took anything from me, because I gave him everything. My time, my choices, my identity. I stopped being Soyeon and became his. And when I tried to pull back, when I tried to remember who I was without him, she turned. He let me go just like he said he would. No threats, no revenge, he just let me walk away. Then why do you look so sad? Her smile was broken. Because I'm still in love with him. Because even though I left, even though I knew it was killing me, part of me wishes I'd stayed. And that's the real trap, Jina. Not that he won't let you go, but that you won't want to. I stood, paced, my chest tight. I can't live like that. Then don't kiss him again. Don't see him again. Throw the card away and disappear. Move cities, change your name, run until you can't remember his face. Would that work? No, she laughed, bitter, but it's the only chance you have. I left an hour later, my head spinning, my heart racing. She was right. I knew she was right. But I also knew I wasn't going to run. The next 24 hours passed in a blur. I spent money like breathing. Another hospital, a school, a women's shelter. I paid off business loans for struggling families, bought winter coats for homeless people, funded scholarships, meals, medicine. The money flowed out like water. And it never stopped coming back. By the final evening, I'd moved 12 billion won, $12 million. The balance was still 8 billion. The card was infinite. He'd been right all along. At 7 p.m. my phone buzzed. It's time. Just those 2 words. I showered, dressed in the red dress from 2 nights ago, did my makeup, looked at myself in the mirror. I looked like someone else. Maybe that was the point. The driver was waiting downstairs. He took me to an address I didn't recognize, not the peninsula, not the club, a building in Hanam-dong. Quiet, exclusive, the kind of place that didn't have signs. The penthouse elevator required a key. The driver gave it to me. He's waiting, was all he said. I rode up alone, 40 floors, the city dropping away beneath me. The doors opened directly into an apartment. Not an apartment, a home. Warm lighting, comfortable furniture, books on shelves, art on walls, windows overlooking the Han River. It was beautiful, lived in, real. Minho stood by the windows. He turned when he heard me. You came, he said. Did you think I wouldn't? I hoped. He moved toward me, stopped a few feet away, hands in his pockets, watching me with those dark, impossible eyes. It's been 7 days, he said. I know. You couldn't spend it all. No. So according to our agreement, he pulled something from his pocket, not the card, a key. You belong to me. My breath stopped. He held out the key. This is to this apartment, to my home, to my life. His voice was quiet, serious. If you take it, you stay, not as property, not as possession, as my partner, my equal, the person I trust with everything I am and everything I've built. And if I don't take it, then you walk away. The card stays active. The money is yours to use however you want. I'll never contact you again. You'll be free. Free. I repeated. Yes. I looked at the key. Silver, simple, the weight of the world in a piece of metal. This is insane, I whispered. Yes. You barely know me. I know enough. I could destroy you. You could, he smiled, small, real, but you won't. How do you know? Because you're you. I looked at his face. Strong, scarred, beautiful in the way dangerous things are beautiful. He'd given me an impossible choice, and somehow made it the easiest decision in the world. Because he was right. I didn't want to run. I didn't want to be safe. I wanted this, him, this terrifying, impossible life. I took the key. His eyes closed, relief washing over his face. When he opened them again, they were burning. Say it, he said. I choose you. Again. I choose this, I choose you, I choose. He kissed me. Hard, hungry, like he'd been holding back for 7 days and couldn't anymore. His hands in my hair, my back against the wall. 7 days of tension and fear and wanting exploding between us. When we broke apart, we were both breathing hard. Welcome home, Jina, he whispered against my lips. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I was. The city glittered outside the windows. His kingdom, our kingdom now. I was safest the moment the most dangerous man noticed me. And I'd chosen to stay in his sight. Forever.